Hello everyone and welcome to my Platinum review of Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. In this video I will talk about my personal experience playing and completing this game, the gameplay, the roadmap to Platinum Trophy, and a trophy list to hopefully help you decide if you want to go ahead and earn a Platinum Trophy in this amazing game. Keep in mind, this is not a trophy guide. If you need one, I have a link in the description below. As you can probably already tell, I really love this game, and this time around most of the people who played it would probably agree with me. It is the last installment in Uncharted series with Nathan Drake as the main protagonist, and it was beautifully executed, both story and gameplay wise. Because this is not a game review, I will not talk about the story, but I will talk about the gameplay elements, because it's important for me to let you know what you're getting yourself into. Although Uncharted 4 is, well, the fourth game in the series, you can jump into it without playing the previous entries, although I would definitely recommend doing so, because they're really good. The game itself plays as a third-person action-adventure game with gunplay, puzzles, and climbing sections. And of course, because it's an Uncharted game, there are big-scale action sequences. What makes it different from any other generic third-person shooter is an amazing story, characters, and attention to details. While fans were worried at the time because Amy Hennig, who was the game director for the series since the first Uncharted game, left the company in the beginning of the development, the game turned out great. Neil Druckmann, who previously directed The Last of Us, took her place beside Bruce Straley, and together, despite making some changes to the original script, were respectful to her vision as far as we know. The gameplay itself is much more action-oriented than The Last of Us. For example, your health regenerates if you're in cover, and you mostly have enough ammo, so no need to scavenge. Stealth plays a bigger role this time around, and there are sections of the game where you can take a quiet approach, something that was possible in the previous entries, but not to the same extent. Also, there are a couple of trophies for doing this, but I'll get to it later. Another thing to note, the shooting galleries were scaled back from the previous games and are usually not back-to-back anymore, so you have more time to breathe and enjoy the story. Climbing is great, it's really fluid, and you can mostly understand easily enough where you're supposed to go next. Puzzles are present throughout the game, they can take you a few minutes to solve, but I wouldn't say they're hard by any means, so if you're not into that, don't let it discourage you. Action sequences are fun, big scale, will keep you on the edge of your seat and make you feel like a badass. As for the story, we are looking for Henry Avery's lost treasure, and I won't give you any more information about it, other than it's really good. The fact is, Uncharted 4 is one of my favorite games of all time, and although the gameplay is really fun, the main reason for it is the story. The difficulty for the Platinum Trophy is 4 out of 10, and it will take you a minimum of 30 hours and 2 playthroughs to complete, although you can make it considerably easier for yourself by making a third playthrough. There are difficulty related trophies in the game, and you will have to finish it on the highest difficulty. Crushing. Now crushing is relatively hard, but not impossible. You need to be very careful because you die in 3-4 shots, and there are a couple of difficulty spikes throughout the game. There is one section that I felt was a bit unfair, and that's when you go through a cave with explosive traps in it. It took me around 20 minutes to get through it, since you need to be very precise. I even looked up a guide because for the life of me I couldn't figure it out myself. If you wish, you can make your crushing playthrough much easier by completing the game on any other difficulty first. That will grant you an access to golden guns and infinite ammo that you can give yourself at any point through the in-game menu. If you decide to do that, just use Baroque 44, since it basically one-shots most of the enemies, and with auto-aim will really make it a cakewalk. Another good reason to do it in 3 playthroughs is so you can enjoy the story first without worrying about collectibles, and just pick them up on your second playthrough using a guide. Your last playthrough should be a speedrun. You need to finish the game in under 6 hours, which is not that hard to do since the time is pretty forgiving, and on the easiest difficulty you can just run by most of the enemies and completely bypass some of the encounters. Keep in mind, you need to skip all the cutscenes because they enter your time, and this is something that actually really annoyed me. You can pause the game if you wish, and there is no need to complete it in one go, so you can exploit saves if you messed up. Just make sure to manually save regularly, and you can always check your time through the in-game menu. I finished the speedrun with 4 hours 15 minutes on the clock. There is an exploit that allows you to skip the speedrun and just play the first and last chapters of the game in order to achieve this trophy, and the guide goes into great detail on how to do it. That being said, you'll have to get your hands on an unpatched version of the game, so if you own it physically, it's fairly easy, but if you own it digitally, it can be a bit of a pain, but still doable, and I'll link a guide on how to do it in the description below. Another trophy to keep in mind while doing your speedrun is Sharpshooter, which requires you to finish the game with at least 70% accuracy. Speedrun is probably the best place to go for it, since you will be playing on the easiest difficulty and with auto lock on anyway. Make sure that you choose not to carry over your statistics from previous playthroughs and check that your stats tab is actually empty after starting a new game, because it can be a bit buggy for some reason. So you might need to start a new game twice for it to actually erase your previous stats. You can check your accuracy through the in-game menu, it's not too hard if you keep it in mind while playing. I managed to finish the game with 87% accuracy. After finishing all the story playthroughs, you should go ahead and complete all the miscellaneous trophies you didn't earn naturally, which to be fair is probably going to be most of them, and I will give you more detail when I go over the trophy list. Last but not least, there are multiplayer trophies in the game, but they're easy enough to do. The hardest one of them is actually for completing the trials that you can do solo. Other multiplayer trophies you should be able to easily get within a few matches. I believe that this is the right way to do multiplayer trophies in mostly single player games. They just make you try it out and there is no need to play it for an extended period of time. But that being said, the multiplayer mode is actually really fun in this game. I did those trophies legitimately without any boosting, I managed to get them done in around 3 hours. Now let's go over the trophy list itself. The first 6 trophies in the game are basically for completing it on each one of the 5 difficulty modes and in under 6 hours. Now the difficulty mode trophies are stackable, that means that by completing the game you will get the trophy for the difficulty mode you played at, plus all the difficulties below. The speedrunning trophy does not have any requirements, so you can and should play it on Explorer mode. Now I did already talk about those trophies in the roadmap section of the video, so I won't go over it again. Something you will need to keep an eye out and definitely use a guide for on your either first or second playthrough are collectibles. The game has 193 of them, in form of treasures, relics, journal entries, journal notes, and optional conversations, and there are 9 trophies in total related to finding all of them. You can check with chapter select which collectible you're missing in each chapter, so it's not hard to keep track of them. That being said, almost 200 collectibles can feel a bit much, considering that they consist of 109 treasures that don't add anything to the story. I found treasures pretty boring, since they're another generic collectibles that don't reward you with anything for finding them. Sure, they look pretty, but nothing more to them. Journal entries and journal notes, on the other hand, are pretty fun. The difference between them, the journal entry is something that Nathan writes down in his journal, and note is, well, a note he finds. They're usually fun to read and give you additional dialogue, so I really enjoyed them. Another thing that gives you additional dialogue is finding all optional conversations. And in my opinion, they're the best kind of collectible in the game, since they reward you with more information on the characters, their relationship, and their backstory. Last but not least, because the developer is Naughty Dog, they had to include Easter eggs to their other games. There are 3 of them this time around, for Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter, and The Last of Us games. You will need to find all of them, and after you do, you will get a Relic Finder trophy. Another semi-collectible trophy is I accidentally all the guns. For this one, you have to get at least 1 kill with every single weapon in the game. And this is actually easier than it sounds, because 21 out of 28 weapons are accessible from the bonus menu after completing the game. Other 7 weapons you can easily clean up with chapter select, and there is a very handy list of where you can find them in the trophy guide I link in the description of the video. There are a lot of miscellaneous kill-related trophies in the game. For example, for killing 50 enemies with headshots or doing 40 stealth takedowns, things you'll probably get naturally. That being said, a lot of them are actually really specific, so let's talk about those ones and skip the more obvious ones. By the way, you can actually checkpoint farm, because the stats do save to your profile instantly, so you can basically get a couple of kills in the way you need and restart your checkpoint. Hangman's Bullet is a trophy for getting 20 headshots while swinging from the rope, which is honestly easier than it sounds. Just disable auto aim, get on a rope and shoot some heads. By the way, you don't actually have to be swinging. Another easy trophy is I Thought I Heard Something, and you will get it for performing 30 vertical stealth takedowns. This one is actually really easy and even a bit boring to do in Chapter 8 by checkpoint farming, so you shouldn't have any trouble with it. You will get a leapfrog trophy for killing 10 enemies in a row by alternating gunplay and melee. This one you can checkpoint farm, so you'll need to find an encounter where you have 10 enemies or more, and if you are on Explorer difficulty, you should be able to earn it easily enough. Unstoppable is a trophy for killing 100 enemies in a row without dying. You might get this one naturally, but if you didn't, just replay Chapter 7 section on the easiest difficulty and keep killing guards until you get the trophy. I got this one first try doing it this way. It will probably take you around 10 minutes, just remember to take cover if your health gets low and you should be good. Now a couple of trophies that actually might take a few tries are Russian Roulette and Round the Table. And I actually had a bit of trouble with those two. For the first one, you need to defeat enemies with pistol, machine gun and grenade, in that order, in 15 seconds. The timing is pretty tight, so you should use a video guide to find the best way to do it. The second one is actually harder. You need to defeat enemies with stealth attack, melee attack, headshot and explosives, in that order, in 15 seconds. It took me probably around 10 minutes worth of tries to get this one, but don't worry, it's possible with enough attempts and a bit of luck. Other kill related trophies consist of making 10 enemies drop their grenades, which is achievable by shooting an enemy when he is about to throw one, getting 4 kills with 1 explosive, killing 10 enemies in 60 seconds with China Lake GL, killing 5 armored enemies with melee, performing 10 combo body takedowns, pulling 20 enemies from a ledge and killing 1000 enemies in total. Those are pretty straightforward and easy to do, so don't worry too much about them. Another type of trophies are for being stealthy in specific areas of the game. For example, you need to sneak through a cemetery without being seen for Ghost in the Cemetery trophy. Those ones can be either a pain or very easy, depending on how good you are with stealth. Regardless, you should be attempting them on easy difficulty, because on easy, the enemies will take much longer to spot you. That being said, if you want a challenge, you can even do it on crushing, which is exactly what I did, but it took me around 40 minutes worth of tries, so it's really unnecessary. Last type of single player trophies in the game are miscellaneous chapter related trophies. Now I won't talk too much about them because of two reasons. One, some of them are story related, so I don't want to spoil anything, and the other ones are really easy to do. But I will mention a couple of them that I had trouble with and that are spoiler free. For On Purpose trophy, you need to get 3 dolphins to follow your boat. I think it either requires a bit of luck or I didn't figure out the right way to do it, since I was trying to get it for around 20 minutes, but I got it eventually, so it can be a tiny bit annoying but not too bad. Another one is for beating a high score in Crash Bandicoot. Yes, they actually added a playable Crash Bandicoot level into the game, and since I'm not great at it, it took me a few tries. No worries though, Chapter Select is your friend there, and you should be trying it when you get to play it for the second time, since it will be a bit easier. And probably the hardest one of the bunch is you have to get through the last fight of the game without getting hit once. Now I can't really show it to you or talk about it, as I will give away spoilers, but just know that you can use gameplay modifiers if you already completed the game and turn on slow motion, which will give you more time to react and make it a lot easier. Now for the multiplayer part. You're supposed to start with the introduction and finishing all the 15 trials. You're supposed to do trials by yourself, and they mostly consist of earning points by using different weapons or performing miscellaneous tasks. I did have a trouble with a couple of them, but you should be able to beat them if you try a few times and look up a good strategy if you're really struggling. No need to beat them on highest difficulty either, moderate will be enough, so they're not too hard. Other trophies in multiplayer are for spawning 10 sidekicks, which is an ability you have and you can easily do it by playing trials, so no need to actually do it in multiplayer itself. You will also need to revive 10 players, which you will have to do in an online match, but that should be easy enough. And the last one is just for finishing 5 online games. You're not even supposed to win them, so no skill required. So this is basically all you need to do to achieve a platinum trophy in this game. Now the big question is, should you go ahead and do it? And I think the answer kinda depends on what type of gamer you are. Because most of the trophies are not really straightforward and you will have to go out of your way to go and achieve them. Now the trophy list itself was really fun for me because it kinda forced me to change my playstyle, something that I really appreciate. But that being said, collectibles were a bit excessive and the requirement for multiple playthroughs on the highest difficulty and speedrunning the game can be a deal breaker for you. Now I really like speedrunning trophies, so I didn't really mind it, but I know that not everyone shares this opinion. Regardless, this is a very satisfying platinum to get, so if you don't mind putting in a little effort and you like Uncharted series, you should probably go for it. On the other hand, if you're more of a casual gamer or you simply lack the time, you can probably skip this one. Anyhow, I can't recommend this game enough, as this game is amazing, and if you didn't play it yet, you should definitely go ahead and play it. I really hope this video helped you guys, and if it did and you enjoyed it, please consider pressing the like and subscribe buttons, since it really helps the channel. Another thing, if you have an idea or suggestion for another game I should review in this format, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Thank you for watching and have a good one.